Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very gay literary happy hour. I am your host for the evening, Nicole Tallman, on half of Jackleg Press, and I am so excited to host you tonight with three really, really, really amazing readers. I still can't believe my luck in managing to get the Ben Kline, the Chen, and the Richie Hofmann. So you are in for a real treat this evening with these three featured readers. Just a really quick housekeeping guideline. I'm just going to ask everybody if you are not reading or speaking, please mute yourselves. And if anyone is in any way disrespectful to our readers or anyone else in attendance, you will be removed from the meeting. Sorry, I have to say that, but it's just the way the world is sometimes. So, without further ado, I am going to kick it off to our first reader, the amazing Ben Kline.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I am going to read from three bodies of work. I'm going to start with my Lambda Award winning collection. It was never supposed to be. I'm a huge fan of tentpole poems in a book. So there are six tentpoles in this book that have some variation of was supposed to be, was never supposed to be in here. I'm going to read two of those tonight. Now, you may see me straining because the typeface in this book is teeny tiny, and I probably need readers, but I refuse to admit it. Whatever. It was supposed to be wild violets bruising my nipples and neck, every cock a loaded gun, the ropey cough a lonely siren. Even then, I answered, "Oh, I use condoms every time." After watching all the uncles cave into their bodies, and I was supposed to die also, gagging on phlegm, on every erection within reach, lust an engine turning me over and over and over, more hands, their fingers smoked blue by my cheap lube. I dismissed every drop of sweat caught on my pillow, bitten dreams of acronyms for my wasted end. I didn't want to suffer the endless procession of urgent purple flags, but it was supposed to be my fate, maybe my choice until my seventh scare. I learned a new word, retroviral. A miracle, my doctor said. I could try if I tested positive. I could take the cocktail, count the pills, and drink more water, eat less meat, a new regimen for living the end. I was negative and didn't know what I was supposed to do with my life. Be an uncle, a lover, of course, but the rest remained without examples. Maybe I'd finish my master's, write my novel, buy a condo, retire, even die of old age. That summer, I drove to DC with friends, walked to the edges of the quilt, conversations about civil unions, who was going to the fireplace later, the full faith and credit of domestic partnerships. I heard men settling into safe expectations, the inverse thrill of legality, the freedom to be seen. My friends were asking strangers which bar had a sling when I saw my uncle's name in the white lettered black square of his bowling team with the date June 28th, 1992. Too soon, too late, not what the priest who gave his eulogy said it was supposed to be. The high sun pricked my shoulders. I declined my turn in the sling. I had more time. All right, then we're going to jump forward in time a little bit. For those of you who don't know, it was never supposed to be travels from Don't Ask, Don't Tell to Obergefell, and kind of the speakers, characters, personas are all people who sort of lived outside the norm. So yeah, we're going to get a little taste of that in this Abecedarian, in which we were supposed to acquiesce to condoms, to monogamy, keep our fists at home and online, our pride buried by layers of latex discourse, rubbery attitudes, never connecting truth to the act. But where I put my tongue didn't stop my dick. Why else display it fully erect in my profile's private albums, focused on the joy of touch? Under About Me, the juicy details, glory holes and loblolly ramble, a weekly circle jerk popular with the neighborhood husbands, a few regular truck drivers, the visiting poet, an occasional priest. Friends insisted I get on prep when it debuted in those gleaming gay rag ads, but I couldn't justify the cost once my insurance declined. HIV can't kill you like it used to, they texted with weeping emoji. And we love you too much, as if I didn't love myself enough to mockingbird my occasional thrills against a risk none of us believed the pills relieved. We might not die, only forget to take them, maybe suffer side effects, more stigma, letters from grandma, promising salvation if we repent, if we marry, which we might soon, queer too, grooms and groomed, dancing in fancy suits at our disco reception, requesting a three-way with the DJ. Maybe some witty man would convince me I didn't need to change, just adapt. Maybe they would induct me into their triad or polycule, usurping the mad notion I might be happy on my own. Visiting friends and the priest, the nearest bathhouse was a 2-hour drive. Would the pills take effect by the time I strutted out of the coat check to the pool? If not, I could use some extra time to X the smooth spot behind my balls, pack more lube and towels, hoping youth springs from the tugged root zealous hands were supposed to dig until I moaned. Thank you. All right, now we're going to switch gears and oh, I got to watch my time. Okay. I'm going to read some new shit. I have two projects I've been working on, and so I have a sort of unofficial follow-up to It Was Never Supposed to Be that I'm currently shopping out to publishers. It's called Happily After Never, and it is about an elder gay going to a baby gay wedding out in the hillbilly sticks. And it's meant to be accessible, funny, ridiculous, and over the top. And I am going to read um, two poems from that. And this book, all the titles go directly into the first line of the poem. My lover's family always asks about our wedding. 4 post-COVID years engaged in a wait for the right politics, for the funds, for my unease to soften like my 50-something body. He shares his ideas with his sisters. I track mine in a phone note. What if I die before the day? What about disco tuxedos with flared pants? Why is tolerance a mask? It's tension in wondering when the facade will break. No polka, no baked beans. Like tonight's grooms, my lover's mother wants to invite everyone, hillbillies, city folk, fourth tier cousins, and queers around the bar where names don't matter. It's not an obligation, just a relief to know I still have choices I still can't believe are possible, even as I'm here, ready for my second bourbon, my lover's hand pulling me to the dance floor. The other time I got engaged was during my first pandemic. Tip had a distaste for condoms. The risk, he whispered, adds to the reward. I enjoyed having skin in the sin of it. Still religious in those days, working in a very public job in our town, I felt we took enough chances. Cruising the Riverbend pullover on Fridays during happy hours to make cash for the club on Saturdays. I preferred going to the Driftwood for drag. He always talked me into Cincinnati for the warehouse or pipeline, always ended up down in the manhole. Before the medications improved and the millennium turned, I moved away. I promised to come back if, at 40, we found ourselves lacking love or partner, friends worth the stay. He promised the same, though he was staying, his studio busier than ever with millennial kids. When the stairs to the manhole collapsed, crushing a twink, a twunk, and two drag queens. I texted Tip, only to hear back from his mother that he had passed away. His online obituary cited some indeterminate long illness. That old cover story we used to swear we'd avoid when we visited the local jeweler who knew about us, who was one of us. Diamond bands on our fingers, plastic flutes of Prosecco sweating on the case. We danced around his closed door to the Thunderpuss remix of Whitney's It's Not Right, but It's Okay. All right. Am I good on time, Nicole?
Always been.
Okay, I'm just gonna read two more. So, is she in the room? I don't see her. She said she was coming. She didn't. She lied. Okay, so I'm working with my friend who is a book artist, Holly Prohaska. Some of you may remember she and I collaborated on an anthology for Flypaper Lit back during the pandemic. So we've long wanted to collaborate. She makes these gorgeous art books, and I stupidly forgot to bring one in here. We love crows. As a teenager, I acquired a murder of crows who have followed me. Their progeny have followed me to the city, and we have had an ongoing exchange through my entire life. And I've written a chat book, 15 poems, because you need 15 crows for the flock to qualify as a murder. And we're going to turn them into like a beautiful handmade art book that we're going to do a limited run of. It's going to be super cool. And I'm going to read two of those tonight. Let me read ones I haven't. I thought I would do. Okay, here we go. Here we go. These two. All right. Cataract. Every cataract is a mirror, my blue ant claimed, watching my crow clutch the cord of white light strung up for these nights on her porch. The three of us quiet in the end of August's slow exit. Behind them, you look back, she continued, the glider squeaking when my bare heels scuffed the varnished floor, the singe of her cigarette a half beat behind. Like your body knows you don't have a lot of time ahead. I knew not to tell her how the murder shared time, history, and prophecy, how my crow left me a razor blade 3 days after my sister's calico ate two of last year's chicks. I wonder what she sees. I left it on the sill like a plastic owl meant to scare the chipmunks for a few days. She retrieved the blade and five fresh blueberries I placed inside a circle of woolly worms as explanation, as a reminder we all end as food. Remnant. One gray molar surprised me. Yellow streaks, a brown hole, only one curved root, left on my balcony railing, the spot most likely to catch my eye when I parted the blinds to nosy the neighbors. It had been years since the crows had left me, piece of someone I knew, and Dad only told me Mom lost a filling on her crawl home, those first 2 hours of her cardiac arrest. I waited for rain. For 3 days, the molar lodged its complaint, my crows watching from the stand of sycamores out back, unwilling to let this go. I took the molar the second wet night, replaced it with a truffle, its dark chocolate a warning. Bring me relics, not remnants, of her cruel mouth. I understood their confusion. We hadn't spoken in months. In my previous apartment, they tacked on that balcony's door the weekend after she died. Three of them and me that evening, circling that parking lot's permanent puddle, scrying past our reflections, none of us willing to say it. Who asked, how hot is it? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was so fun. And cheers, cheers to you. Cheers to everyone who has a drink, alcoholic or not. It's a great night for poetry. And next up, we have the magical Chen Chen.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's great to be part of this and to be reading with Ben and Richie. Um, I thought I would start with well, setting my timer. Yeah. Um um but this poem by Derek Austin from his beautiful, beautiful book, This Elegance. Uh yeah, just finished reading this and wow. This is a poem called Sunday Tea. I studied Italian painters, Giorgione, Titian. At one job, I'm a glorified secretary. I answer the phone in my professional voice and sell gaudy urns to luxe addresses. My neighbor listens patiently, amused by my young life. We're the only black gay men in our building, so he has me over for Sunday tea. I fill our cups. For the heart, he says, adding whiskey to his. In the 80s, on a fellowship in Spain, he practiced arias and translated Romani ballads. After a concert, he presented Leontine Price with flowers wrapped in sheer blue paper. Today, I argue Another Country is Baldwin's best novel. My neighbor shares a recipe for chicken paprikash. Gone like that, he says, flipping through an album of friends in their youth with fades and thick mustaches. They could quote mahogany, house music pulsing they cut up on the dance floor, worldly and glamorous as a Venetian painting. I refill our cups, a splash of whiskey in his tea. And then I thought I would read a few short excerpts from this book of craft essays that will be out in December, I believe, um, called In Cahoots with the Rabbit God. And um, I was just because I've been looking over proofs this week. And yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit from the opening essay, which is called Letters to the Rabbit God. And um, what do I need to say about it? So, the rabbit god is a queer Chinese deity from southern China, actually from my home province, but I only learned about him like 5 years ago. Um, and so the essay is kind of grappling with that, but also just trying to talk to the deity. So I'll read a couple excerpts. Yeah. Dear Rabbit God, I'm at the professional development webinar. Are you at the professional development webinar? Probably not. I'd guess you're at the club or in the garden or at the soup dumpling spot, being a slut, sniffing and slurping all kinds of earthly goodness. You're a professional when it comes to life, to living queerly and utterly, though you did have to die first before you could truly do your thing. Typical God shit. Rabbit God, I have so many questions for you. If you are here on this Zoom call and just not in the mood to be on camera, I've been there, give me a little divine heart or even a divine thumbs up. You don't have to answer me, but if you're here and not too busy or hungover, I hope you're listening. When exactly was your queerness erased and forgotten, such that you became a desexualized, regular old Taoist deity of harmony and auspiciousness? How did you feel about that erasure? How do you feel about it now in your modern home in New Taipei City? One scholar says that government suppression of your queerness began in the 18th century. For example, one particularly disgusted Qing dynasty official filed a report based on witnessing or hearing of men visiting your temple and praying for your assistance in homosexual matters. I wonder how successfully you protected the men who visited you then, whether you had enough power to protect yourself. Sometimes I wonder about who you were before the senior deities, outraged or out of pity, granted you godhood, back when you were an ordinary mortal. Were you really put to death after allegedly spying on that imperial inspector in the shower? Or was it while he was peeing? Kinky. But I wonder if you really were beaten after you admitted to your peeping and your feelings, and if so, was it the looking or the liking that got you that death sentence? In some versions, you didn't peep at all. You confessed your love. And while I'm always telling my students to reach deeper and find the full emotional truth, why did you have to share yours in that life and death situation in 17th century Fujian? Surely you knew the dangers, and so part of me doubts the way this story turns. Did you actually confess your heart or only your lust? Were you beaten to death for love, or were you beaten for the lesser crime of curiosity, and then took matters into your own hands out of terrible sorrow and shame? And what does it say about me that at first I thought my version of the story was less sad? The legends say the guy you liked was handsome, legend level handsome. So I get it. You risked it all, and now you watch over those who risk it all. I wish, though, that the risks weren't so high for you, for anyone. I wish you didn't have to die to become a god. What if deification happened through a happy love story instead, just loving so hard? What if godhood was granted via a lengthy but not deadly application process? I've heard the Qing dynasty loved their paperwork, their bureaucracy, almost as much as an American university. What if you had a friend, a comrade? I bet you got a real kick out of hearing for the first time the modern Mandarin slang term for gay or queer, 同志, or yes, comrade. I bet that still makes you giggle sometimes. Oh, there's your thumbs up. What if you'd had a friend to giggle with back then, though? Did you? Did they tell you not to go spying on that dude, however legendary his beauty, that would be not the best behavior and very dangerous given the man's status and power? Besides, there are other guys, actual gay guys in your area who would love to go out with you. I'm trying to say, I want to be your friend, Rabbit God, your comrade, your tongzhi in cahoots when it comes to all things love and sex and words and giggling. Though, on second thought, a true friend would also be in cahoots with you, or just with you, when it comes to all things grief and rage and unrequited love and restless silence. A true writer understands this, though I don't believe in such a rarefied state or precious title as true writer. I believe in trying to say the truth and then another truth. Another excerpt. Dear Rabbit God, to be clear on the topic of belief, I'm not a religious person. I didn't grow up religious, and I wouldn't call what I feel toward you religious exactly. Spiritual, sure, though that term is a bit tainted by new aginess for me. So if you expect me to worship you, I don't know how to. I don't know how to worship anything except, I think, cock and hole. I know how to use my tongue. I know how to let my mouth be used, my throat. I understand the awe and the holiness involved in eating out a man's butt. Indeed, that might just be my most worshipful act. Writing poems is another kind of spiritual practice for me. It does feel like a sacred act, making a poem, taking a slow, careful time to revise it, immersing myself in its waters at once clear and mysterious. As Louis Glick said, poetry survives because it haunts, and it haunts because it is simultaneously utterly clear and deeply mysterious. Often a poem begins for me as a phrase or a line that won't let me go, that haunts me. In a sacred and sometimes annoying way, yes. Annoying because I have no idea what to do with that gift, that sacred scrap of language. As Mary Ruffle said, the line of language puts pressure in my head. It's like having to pee. The soul's piss. Is that what a poem is? That phrase could make a good poem title, but where to go from there? Sometimes all I have is a poem's name. Rabbit God, do you still use your original mortal name, Hu Tianbao? Say when you're on the apps or on a date. Are you humble or are you hung and want the boys to know? I keep thinking about how the last character in your name, the second character of your given name, is Bao, meaning to defend, to protect, to keep safe. You, protector of gay boys across the world. I don't believe in names as destiny. I do believe in Chinese parents' deep care in naming their children. Do you get to see your parents in some afterlife realm? Did they know you were gay? If so, did they accept you? It took so long for my parents to accept me, it's hard to feel happy about it. These people who named me, then refused to love me for years. Rabbit God. Do you like your god name? Apparently, it comes from the late imperial slang term for gays or queers, rabbits. To be called something that was initially, and still can be, cutesy or downright offensive language, I know something about that. Gay is slang too, and queer. Gay god, queer god, a little on the nose perhaps. In another late imperial period, here in America, we might call you faggot god, which I don't think you'd mind. In fact, I think you'd be into that. But rabbit god sounds good. It has the right mix of whimsy and formality, animal and divine, spunk and spirit, splooge and lyric. The expression fucking like rabbits comes to mind, to groin. Fucking like rabbits, but not making any rabbit babies. Though devotees of the Omegaverse and MPreg storylines are working on this important matter. In the meantime, I enjoy this way of thinking about it. By fucking like rabbits, we each become a god in our own right. And I'll read one more excerpt later from this, and then maybe a poem or two. Um, Dear Rabbit God, I don't believe in suffering for one's art. I believe in frolicking for one's art. I believe in eating well for one's art. I believe in farting for one's art. I believe in making beautiful friends for one's art and making plans with one's friends for one's art. I believe in this utterly, especially when those friends hold you accountable to making your art, revising your thought, practicing your politics. I believe that my Gaysian life is integral to my art, and I believe that difference should be embraced, not shunned, not simplified. I believe that poems that love earthly difference alongside or even more than spiritual transcendence are better poems. I believe in falling wildly in love for one's art and for no reason at all. I believe in orgasming for one's art. Okay, and now I'll read a poem or two. Um, so yeah, it'd be fitting to transition to this one. So these, I think I'll read two poems. These are both from my book, um, my new book that will be out next April. Okay. God, gods, powers, Lord, universe. If you cannot at the moment give me much joy, I get it. I have asked and received many a great joy already. Just give me, if you can spare it, a small joy, say the size of a ketchup packet. If that's too much to ask for, then how about a small kindness, a tiny kindness, the size of a kiss from a dust mote? No? Okay. Would it be possible for you to take away some things then? For instance, the soreness on the right side of my neck. If you could remove maybe half a pinch of that soreness, I would leap up as though it were a great joy. I mean, it would absolutely be a great, great joy. Thank you in advance, O highest, O mightiest, O most. Still no? Well, what about this sense that everything has become very slippery? Everything is slipping right out of my fingers and faster every day. I'm not asking you to cure my fear, nor unslipify my fingers. Only if you could, if you have a quarter of a split nanosecond, it would be greatly appreciated. See, I don't need joy or kindness or ketchup. I beg you, if you are a being, a higher, some mysteries that can listen, can mercy, I just need to lose a little less quickly. And checking on the time. Actually, I think I can read two more. So let me go to this one. This is called A Friday and a Saturday. And it's in memory of my former teachers, Michael Burkhardt. A Friday and a Saturday. There was a bell only gay DJs could hear. There were sloppily supremed oranges. There was a gorgeous TV. There were short fictions of the long shadow of the South. There was an insomnia of magpies. They were music, then meaning, then mystery, though in fact it all started with movement. There was a large statue of the Buddha, everything big except his butt. Somebody whispered, all that enlightenment, and he's got a flat ass. Somebody else said, he's pooped out all his desire. There were three of us pondering the desire for religion. We pondered it together, then headed back to our apartments. One of us biked, another walked. I took the train. I scrolled my phone, pretending not to eavesdrop on the conversations around me. There appeared to be a quarrel between two boyfriends, maybe three. There seemed to be a blueberry farm, or the dream of one. There wasn't anything wrong, absolutely nothing, insisted a woman in pom-pom-purin leggings. There could have been at least a dozen little islands brimming with love, but nobody wanted to confess first. There was a man who looked just like my favorite teacher, his face a brief, bright ghost of Michael, Michael, Michael. Michael, you are missed. I think you would have gotten a real kick out of that big accept his butt Buddha. And if you joined the discussion, you might have said, it's too bad it's a bad butt, but still, you do have to poop it all out. Desire, grief, oh, bewildering bliss too. Poop out your feelings. Whatever you're feeling today, tonight, but probably best to wait till you're off the train. I think you would have said that. I'd like to believe this. And I'll close with this poem that just came out and it's also in this book. An evening discussion. An evening discussion. What if we got a gun? I whispered, from my pillow to you on yours. I'm so against it in theory, I continued, but in practice, and these days. Then I burst, became a wave of laughter, and you joined me. We were a tidal giggle, and then I felt a huge wobble, some cosmic shudders, perhaps from a god with skin problems unresolved from adolescence. Unreleased from adolescence, childhood, I saw how I was spiritually still in uncomfortable overalls, and overall over none of it. You too, it seemed, as what you then said was, what if I became a bodybuilder? You said you spoke this to me at normal volume like it was regular info, like we were at Planet Fitness or in Galaxy Muscle, not in our bedroom or bed. What if, you said, I bodybuilt so good, so Arnold, to the point of the world turning totally unhomophobic? Not a speck of homophobia left, not one subatomic particle of miserable homophobe. The whole damn globe. Amazing, right? And I said, or I could become a stronger writer, more cutting in my musings, more ferocious in my music. In bed, in response, you looked at me fondly, probably the fondest you've ever looked at me and said, baby, you will. But how about we do both? Both? I asked. Writing and bodybuilding? Writing, you said, and the gun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chen. And I was trying to find the link to your forthcoming books. I don't know if you have pre-order links or not,
There
but
are
if
no
you...
links yet. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
vibes.
Okay, well, I love your vibes. I just wanted to help promote. But in the
Yeah,
meantime, you can
it'll
order
happen.
them.
All happen in good
Yes.
time.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we're gonna have Richie close out our featured reading, but I just want to say that after Richie reads, we're going to have a very short open mic. So if there is anyone who's feeling brave and has a poem of 2 minutes or fewer, we'll take up to five people. So if you want to drop your name in the chat, that's cool. If not, we'll just end after Richie's amazing reading. But I am so excited to welcome my very dear friend and amazing poet, Richie Hofmann. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Chen and Ben. This has been so fun. Hopefully, I'm not the last reader. I really want to hear people reads. So, dazzle me, people. I ask so little of this world. I'm just going to read a couple of poems from my new book, The Bronze Arms. Still kind of new, right? Um, Starting with this poem called Minotaur. There was sand in my camera lens. It ruined the edges of every picture I have of you. I stood at the end of the room, a villa, and then there were the clouds. I drink, the sea is there. It was hot. I wore shorts with a drawstring. Eating ice cream, chasing pigeons, listening for the mooing of the tourists. The meals we ate had a wounded beauty. The city a construction site. My longing for you followed me like a shadow, getting longer in the day, disappearing at night. The maze where they sacrificed boys. A maze of light and shadows. In myths, the gods are slaves to passion. They don't die of hunger. Night on the beach. I watch you walk into the water. Pay attention to me. There's music a couple streets over. It's the Eurythmics. You could have drowned me, and no one would have known. I can't stop looking at you, at the black of your groin, and the small towel we share, teal with stripes. This is a poem called Lust Archive, in honor of both lust and archives, since we have librarians and lustful people here tonight. A night in a clawfoot tub. The water covers my face. I taste it and remember. The tap water in Rome, in Vilnius, in Kep. Putting my mouth under the spigot, sucking it down hard. Serenity and violence, pleasure and loneliness in Venice. The six Titians in one place in Boston, united for the first time since Philip II used them to get hard for his ugly wife, with whom he had to have a child. Danae's soft body, Venus's bare feet, women from the front and behind, Diana washing her armpits, Callisto swollen with Jupiter's baby, Andromeda chained at her wrists and ankles, the only other man ripped apart by hounds, Europa gripping the bull's one horn as he kidnaps her. In 24 hours, we were in an apartment, a hotel with blackout shades, and your parents' house. Mouth of a god, mouth of a lover. I was writhing, sucking, and then I was alone. The hunger not yet drained from me like the tap water. I didn't drown. It wasn't a rape. You let me go. A couple drops still dripped like a portrait's diamonds. Oh, something I had fun with in this book is writing these tiny little poems that we put all the way at the bottom of the page, like these little Sappho inspired fragments. And I'm really proud of them, but I never read them. But I feel like tonight's the night because they don't have titles and they make no sense. They're just tiny. I'll just read a few of them that I like. He chewed my hair softly while I slept on his chest. Any fragment of him unhinges me, masters me. In that short time when I'm not conscious, all the heads are replaced, names are scratched off the coins. No one remembers me. To wake me once, he shoved crumpled dollar bills in my mouth. Over black coffee, I told him my favorite emperor castrated a slave and made him his wife. I'm so tired of beauty. When I sleep in my underwear, black flies land on my shoulders, clean as the afterlife. Morning, we ruin the surface with two opaline cords of piss. The weirdest urge. Write your name in your manly handwriting, right on my skin in permanent marker. The night, entering the day from behind. I took off my clothes, my body a series of entrances and exits. Desire, desire without any meaning. This is a poem called Allegory of Love. It's an allegory of love. Love jerked me up by my hair and told me I was its slave. It was 6 a.m. I didn't even know. Ouch, I said. It pressed down on me. I searched around to give it something. My expensive shirt was on the floor, but my mortal body was the only currency. So we made love the way other men subordinate beasts or submit to tyranny. It held on to my wrists. It didn't let me shave. I'm going to have you forever, it told me. You can have me for a while, I said. Some more Sappho fragments. Marble dust blown by the breeze, flecks of the ideal body. Have I ever inhaled it? Ugly America sleeps, and boys my age run with sweat in their hair, the momentary flash of their skin in the sea. The stars swallow each other. The waves are absorbed. So much pain rushes through my love of beautiful things. The night loves my young body, a boy held captive by a friend's wrists. I won't ever forget the polished white of the urinals. What I feel is excruciating hunger. What's the point of kissing? One day I'll lick men's arms. Time will waste us. The deep sea swallows everything, will make us feminine and bend us. And I'll just end with a romantic poem. It's called Night Star. Footfall in the long hallways above us, painted stars on the ceiling, real stars from the balcony. Teenagers were making out by the public fountain. You had a terrible apartment. The sink water tasted like blood. I cut my fingernails over the toilet. My parents were still married in another country. Young swallows were dropping themselves. For a whole weekend, I wore one of your shirts. That will mean the most to me in my short life. There was a big wormwood armoire with an urn on top. You said those were the landlady's ashes. The mattress made a sound as you lay down. My shoulders were sunburned. It hurt when you pulled my arm out of one sleeve. I tasted your deodorant as the shirt came off. Fall came and disappeared. We were meant to live another life. I mean, here. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Richie. I feel like we went the whole realm of energy and emotions, like been like super hyped, and then like Chen was kind of in the middle, and then like Richie just, I don't know, it's like this energy, like I don't know, I feel like I need a massage or something. That was so great. Wow. Um, okay, so I think four people put their names in the chat, but I want to start with Jude because Jude always joins us and he is so amazing because he's like what 6 hours, I don't even know how many hours you are ahead of us, Jude, but you always show up, so I want you to read for us first. I'm gonna unmute you now. I think I'm trying. Jude, are you able to unmute?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Nicole. It's only 5 hours ahead, so you know. Okay, this one is from earlier this year. If I've read it before, as usual, I apologize, but it seems like a good one for this summer. It's called Researchers Have Discovered a Scrap of Homer's Iliad Inside an Egyptian Mummy. It is not unknown, these researchers say, to find a bundle of papyri wrapped and sealed inside a mummy's chest, a tiny library of magic spells or rituals, something for the journey, perhaps, or something to smooth passage to the underworld. But a page from the Iliad, that's a first. It's a section from the second book, an elaborated list of all the Greek ships that set out for Troy, for endless battle on an endless plain, for Helen and revenge, or for respite from the day-to-day. Who made this choice, I wonder, to spend the endless day-to-day of death with a page of poetry wrapped inside the concave of their scooped-out, embalmed chest, where their heart once beat? Or was the choice a gift made for them, a last rite to impress the gods, or to remember what lives on, the immortality of words spoken down the centuries, scribed and printed, annotated and translated, until a fragment of papyrus is enough to make a headline of someone unknown who died in Roman Egypt 1600 years ago? I have discarded almost everything I've ever owned, including my birth name, and of course I don't expect to be remembered for the words I write or for the journey I have taken. That's okay. Homer is a myth anyway. But yes, I would like to end with a poem in my chest. Thank you.
That was beautiful as always. Thank you so much, Jude. And next up is Sushant.
Hey, so I'm just gonna read a short one here. Just got published, and I'm quite proud of it. It's called The Almost Person. I was your almost person, which is to say, your door was never shut. Your door was never shut, but no room inside was mine. No room inside was mine, though I knew where you kept the tea. I knew where you kept the tea, the fear, the joke, the old blue shirt. The joke, the fear, the old blue shirt, I carried them like relics. I carried them like relics, though no altar knew my name. No altar knew my name. Friendship had no priest for this. Friendship had no priest for this. No divorce, no inheritance. No inheritance, only the cup I used still in your sink. The cup I used still in your sink became a monument after I left. A monument after I left, but not one I could claim. Not one I could claim, though my body still turned at your name. My body still turned at your name, like a dog, like a fool. I was your almost person, which is to say, I was almost home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I cannot believe Michael McNamara has put their name on this list. But Michael, please, the floor is yours, my friend.
Cole, I had to start writing short poems in order to fit into this very gay open mic. This will take us back to the early 1980s, and it's titled No Wolves Mostly, or Golden Eggs, or Magic Beans. Although these capsules come close, our home, a secret fragrance garden, a mangoed yard, green and flocked with pink and yellow plumeria, and delicate violet hummingbird mint, beneath a prismed blue tint dome, like a decorative centerpiece set among streetlight candlesticks. Maybe that's what makes the intrusion, the knock at the never used front door, so startling. Health Department, he bellows in his blow your house down voice. He offers us a small key to our future, shaped in the words, "There's something wrong with your blood." The key hangs from a strong yet delicate chain of, we don't know what, but it's wrong. Immediately, my husband bows, and this intruder lowers chain and key around my beloved's neck. In olden tales, my love would in that moment have become a statue or a fawn or an indescribable songbird. Instead, little by little, he winks out like the stars.
Thank you so much, my friend, for accommodating the format. Your voice is music always. I love it. Um, Fern, where did you go, Fern?
Oh, I'm here.
There you are. Sorry, I was trying to unmute you. The
Oh,
floor
no.
is yours, my friend.
Thank you. This is a very short poem. It's only four couplets. A little context. It's the ninth poem in a 10 poem sequence that takes its 10 titles from the first 10 poems of Lorca's Poema del Cante Hondo. So here we go. 9. Dagger. It's the point going through, the piercing of form, the breaking and the flowing forth, the fear. It's drops of sweat in Gethsemane. Ow, then wow, or fuck. It's an anticipation of death, a set of perfectly coaxed lines, a glance of thigh in summer shorts. Thank you.
Thank you, Fern. It's so good to see you again. Um, okay, well, we have 3 minutes left. You know what? I'm going to read a poem for you. I'm going to close this out. Um, Fern and I took a class together with Richie, and I actually wrote this poem in Richie's class. It's called Dolce Vita. Richie, this is for you and for everybody here. I finish the lover and we take a walk. We head toward the new food court that just opened. The sun sends us to the other side of the street. We pass by a building with a balcony bleeding bougainvillea. The old city peeks through the reconstruction. An ad for perfume, leather, a liquor long ago expired. People pack the lobby like vultures on a carcass. A girl takes a selfie next to the bar in the center. Everything is silver, blue, and glass. The smell of roasted tomatoes leads us to Cicchetti. We order Prosecco and tapas served on small wooden plates. I like watching the man at the oven who makes our food. How he moves like pleasure is his only concern. So that is the end of our poetic readings, but do want to say one more thing before we part, and that is that this series is every month, the first Thursday of each month from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And next month, we're going to have James Allen Hall, and we're going to have Ruben Gelly Newman, and we're going to have one more person who I'm going to keep that one a surprise because we don't have the flyer ready yet, but you're going to be hearing it soon. And, I've gotten a lot of requests from allies who want to read as well. So I may just open this up a little bit too, because there's so many poets with new books out, and I want to keep promoting poets with new books out. If you have a new book coming out, please always feel free to reach out to me to let me know that because I want to keep promoting poets and new books and supporting poetry. I just saw your comment there, Dustin. Stop making me laugh while I'm trying to say a serious thing. Dustin Brookshire read an amazing set last time, and yeah, whatever, Dustin, I see you. Right, John, you're right. Only cool straights. That's absolutely right. Maybe that's the series, Only Cool Straights and Gays. I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. But anyway, the point is that I've had people reach out who are allies to ask if they could read, and I'm thinking if you're an ally, I'll consider it. So anyway, this has been such an amazing series. We're only a few months in. I've enjoyed, oh my God, Richie, I have enjoyed having everyone here with us tonight. And I hope you'll continue to join us and support poetry in this format. I know sometimes people want to get together to read, but I like Zoom because it brings together people from all different time zones together in a beautiful space. So if you have the means, I'm going to ask you to please order a book either for yourself or for your local library for our poets who read tonight. And let's unmute and give everybody one round of applause who read. And again, cheers. It's a happy hour. So cheers, everyone. Thank you for being here and supporting community and poetry. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Chen. Thank you, Richie. I love all of you, and I hope you have an amazing night or morning, whatever time zone you're in. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you.
Good night or good morning or afternoon. Bye.